It is a question often asked of atheists: what if you're wrong? I'm one atheist who isn't even a tiny bit worried about being wrong, and that has nothing to do with certainty. The reason I'm not worried about being wrong is because when I think about the possibility of a God, I'm not making the same assumptions everyone seems to be making. I do not join them in their casual assumption that the creator of the universe expects me to know all about him. Why would a God want me to presume things about him that I could not possibly know? To buy into religious claims people have been making for centuries. Religion seems a lot like gossip to me. Gossip about God. I find it easier to imagine the opposite kind of God. A God who might instead become angry with the gossipers, with the people who feel perfectly at ease making all kinds of outlandish claims about him, about their personal relationships with him. People who say they're on the same bowling league with God. People who take it upon themselves to speak for him, who imagine that they've had interactions with God and work to convince others that God, who just happens to agree with them about everything, wants us all to behave a certain way. This God I've just invented, who would resent organized religion, at least makes some kind of sense. But there are plenty of reasons not to make the assumption that a God would prefer religious believers. How about a God who, after giving us the wonderful gift of life, has to put up with all the ingrates who insist that this life isn't all, it's actually followed by a never-ending afterlife where everything is perfect? I bet you thought theists were the only ones who invented gods. I have one more. How about a God who understands the role of science in human progress? This God would become very angry when superstition stood in the way of scientific progress. Turns out Pascal was bluffing. There isn't actually any reason to think that a God would be upset with unbelievers. So when theists ask loaded questions like, what if you're wrong? My response is, I'm really not worried about it. I'm not the one who's been pretending to know God and talking all kinds of shit about him.